Right now in South Australia, it's 8:30 a.m. here. It's a glorious day. I've spent some time outside. I'm hoping you can hear me okay too, by the way. I think you should be able to. I'll wait till the chat comes up. You guys normally tell me. But it's a glorious day here, and I had a cup of tea outside and doing a little bit of reading, and it's just so beautiful, so beautiful. I'm in isolation, right? But it doesn't stop me from getting sun on my face and feeling that sun. And anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Tao, which is an ancient text, 2,500 years old, and I'll be going to be doing some readings from that, verse 47. Here comes the chat, and I'll say hello to you people that are turning up, and hello Barbara from Tennessee, welcome, and Jennifer. Lisa, 7 p.m. here in Pennsylvania, USA. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you. Wherever you are joining from, there will be some joining from probably YouTube and some from Facebook. The other ones I'm struggling to work at the moment, but we'll get there. Good morning, Gabby. Welcome. Hello, Anne Gret. Great to see you too. Great to see you too. Hello, Lee. That's my friend Lee, who was always minding Dharma for me. A great friend. There he is there. Great friend, and also who used to look after Dharma all the time, and I'm very much appreciative. Thank you, Lee. It's good to see you here. Vanessa, Kaya Bram, Victoria. Thank you for joining, Vanessa. Welcome. Sam, hi sir. Night here in the UK. Lovely to see you, Sam. Hello, dear Lisa. Lovely to see you too. And Nell on the old YouTube. Lovely to see you, Nell. Thank you very much for joining in. It's great. It's beautiful. It's lovely to see all the chat in one place, both Facebook and YouTube. I can see it all, and it although it moves fast, it doesn't go too fast for me at the moment, so it's okay. So I can see a lot of what is happening. And we have who else do we have? Dinah Warren from Canberra. Welcome, Dinah. And Sarah Ann from Chicago. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. Edith, lovely to see you too. So, as I mentioned before, I'll be doing this reading from the 47th verse of the Tao Te Ching, a 2,500 ancient spiritual text. The Tao, spelled T-A-O, basically meaning the way. Now, I like to just say a way, but that's what it's sort of translated as is the way. And I'm particularly reading the translation from Dr. Wayne Dyer, the late great Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's been always looked up to as a great mentor of mine. I love his translation. In fact, I'm going to show you the book if ever you want to reach out and get it. It's called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao. It comes in all different covers too, but that's just one of the recent ones. It's a fantastic book, and we're going to do some readings from this, and then we'll also do a couple of meditation reflections here. Wow, all the people, wow. Deb says, yes, lockdown is giving me anxiety. Well, Deb, let's help to get rid of some of that. Let's aim to get rid of some of that in this session today. That's the goal, right? Wow, there's lots of people. I'm sorry if it's freezing from Facebook. I'll just do my best. Hello, Vana. I'm glad that I've helped you, and you're getting lots out of the meditations. It's fantastic. We'll just keep chugging along, guys, and if it cuts out, my apologies, but we'll just have to see what happens here. Okay. Okay, so let's go. I want to start by reading out the 47th verse. I might just close some of these other links down, guys, and this might help things here. Let's see how we go. So this is the 47th verse, and Wayne Dyer has translated it as living by being. And it says, Lao Tzu says, let's put on the glasses, right? The Grandpop glasses, I can read better. Without going out the door, know the world. Without looking out the window, you may see the ways of heaven. The farther one goes, the less one knows. Therefore the sage does not venture forth and yet knows, does not look and yet names, does not strive and yet attains completion. Now I'm going to break this down. So it starts off, without going out the door, know the world. And I guess my translation of this is basically meaning that, turn that down a bit too. My translation of this, without going out the door, know the world. We often spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for validation, for attaining things, and for knowledge and for wisdom, and out there. And yet I think what it's saying is we don't need to so much continue to focus on external stuff, that we can know the world through ourselves when we really attune into ourselves. And of course meditation helps with that, as I'm sure that many of you are aware. I just noticed Amanda says, this is the Dr. Wayne Dyer book I'm reading at the moment. Awesome. Awesome. So, and the next line he says, without looking out the window, you may see the ways of heaven. Similar to the first line, that I can look outside there now, and it's gloriously beautiful. But it's also, that beauty is also contained within. And some may even say that I'm only seeing out there a reflection of who I am inside. You see, that saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Someone may come across and see something different. And again, I think it's to do with that. It's to do with how we are in here. We can find that heaven within. We don't have to go externally to find that heaven. And the farther one goes, the less one knows. Interesting concept here. Very interesting concept. Sometimes, if we continue down this rabbit hole, if we continue down that place, that we are actually can move further and further away from the truth. It sort of throws in the face, I guess, of studying and our university studies, and I'm not condemning that, and certainly this is not condemning that either. But it is about there's so much wisdom that we can find within, and that sometimes that actually, it reminds me. Have any of you guys read the book The Alchemist? Have you read that book, The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho? I'm sure many of you have. It's a beautiful book. And in this book, it tells the story of this young gentleman that goes on a quest throughout the entire world to find the treasure, to find the hidden treasure. Yes, many people have seen this book. Yes. And if you haven't read this book, it's a beautiful book. I say go and get it. It's probably one of the greatest books ever printed, and it's easy and it's short. It's so beautiful, right? Trisha's read it 3 times. It's so, so beautiful. The Alchemist. Do yourself a favor and buy that book. But what he does, he goes out, traverses the world and trying to look for this treasure. And then he comes back home at the very, maybe I shouldn't tell you. Anyway, I'll tell you, it's still okay. It's still okay. You'll still get it. But basically, in short, he kind of finds the treasure within at the end. So I'll say no more in case you get the book. I don't want to disturb that, but that's what it's about. We can be distracted. We can go further and further out, but it's the treasures within ourselves here. Therefore, the sage does not venture forth and yet knows, does not look and yet names, and does not strive and yet attains completion. Yeah. So Wayne Dyer translates this. His first line is, I encourage you to change your belief that effort and striving are necessary tools for success. This is a really hit on the head for a lot of us, and even for myself included, because I've come from a place of, this attainment and this striving and this going and this, to get to the goals or to get what it is, you must work really, really hard. And there's nothing wrong with the working hard part. What it is, I think it's referring to as working in the flow and listening and working with ease rather than pushing against. And I think that that's where we can fall into the trap. So the name of that book is The Alchemist. And you will see, if you type that in, you will see there'll be hundreds and thousands of books everywhere. I'm sure he's sold millions and millions and millions of copies. So Wayne also says that we need to live by being instead of trying. This is a different viewpoint, right? As Lao Tzu states, you can see and accomplish more by not looking out the window. There you go. It's looking within, and this is the gift of meditation as well. What do we do when we meditate? We be. And it seems that we're not doing anything, right? On the outside, it just seems that we're not doing anything, and yet we're doing everything. That's the paradox. That's the beauty of meditation. We're seemingly not doing anything, yet we're doing everything. And isn't it funny? Meditation's this ancient practice. It's been practiced for tens of thousands of years. And only now, science have got hold of it and recognized the benefits, and that it is proven to work. But they knew that. They didn't need the scientific experiments. They've been doing this for tens of thousands of years. They've known that. It's only we, analytically, we like to know that, right? We've come from this information age where we want to know everything and break things down into minute pieces. But we know that. We know that meditation helps with changing the neural pathways. We know that it helps to reduce stress and anxiety, to lower our blood pressure, to help us to focus more. And we know that through science, but we also know through the act of doing it, what the beautiful meditation can give us. And I love how Wayne Dyer likens this whole 47th verse, living by being. He talks about the heart. This is the example he uses. Our heart beats, Our heart beats all the time. Boom, 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 day and night. And without us trying, we're not trying to do anything. We're not telling the heart to beat or forcing it to beat, right? It even does it when we're asleep. It continues on. And that's the beauty I like that he refers to. And he says, even without your conscious attention, it works as perfectly as the ocean does. Its continuous beat is even reminiscent of the waves of the sea's surface. And this I love. Wayne says, I'd like you to think of your entire self as a heart that already knows exactly what to do by virtue of its very nature. I'd like you to think of your entire self as a heart that already knows exactly what to do by virtue of its very nature. If we can just stop and visualize that for a moment, that we are, this whole being of ours is actually just like a heartbeat. We open ourselves up to the universe. We allow the flow to flow through us without the striving, without the straining. And the more we can do this, the more effortless our life can become. Does that make sense? I'd love to know if that makes sense to you, but that, to me, that struck me. I just love that whole thing about the heart beats effortlessly. And if we can imagine ourselves as that, being in the flow. And Chris says, I'll put that up there, slow down, stop, listen, observe, wisdom. Yes. Oh, and just guys, if you wanted this book that I'm reading from, this is Wayne W. Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I'll just hold that up there. Living the Wisdom of the Tao. There we go. So, let's just meditate on that just for a moment. Let's just meditate on that. I'll come back to this. Let's just take in a break, right? And here's the thing, let's just go with the flow and be. And in fact, how about we even take the word out of the meditation itself and just be? So, because meditation sometimes, when that word comes up, people think I have to do something in a certain way. And there are rules and regulations for meditation when there are not. And the more we can just tune in to the present moment and in awareness, full acceptance, without judgment, the greater, the more powerful this meditation, this practice will be, this presence will be. And then this presence begins to expand and flow out into all areas of our lives, right? So let's just say we're going to just be right now. And I invite you now to, you can either sitting down or lying down. I'll just move up these armrests here. Okay. Just placing your hands in your lap, by your side if you're lying down. And taking in some deep breaths. And you can close your eyes if you choose. And the breaths in, I would like you to focus more on the breath out than the breath in. So really, when you're focusing on the breath out, really blow it all out, every ounce of it. And then the next breath in, Just allow it to drop in with ease. You don't have to be concerned about it. It will fill up naturally at its own accord. So breathing in and out, just larger breaths than normal just to begin with. And on the breaths out, even if you slow the breath out as it goes out, but just make sure you expel the entire breath out and allow it to fill up again naturally. Feeling that expansion as the breath just falls back in without you trying to do anything, just allowing it to fall back into place. And bringing your breath back to a comfortable rhythm. Just breath by breath. No pushing or straining or manipulation required. Just allow your breath to come and go, to ebb and flow, just like the ocean waves, just coming in, going out. And here's your chance to just be. With thoughts, with no thoughts, with sensations, with no sensations. Just full acceptance of simply breathing and being in this moment. In and out. Breath by breath. Breathing in love, breathing out discord, breathing in hope, letting go of ways that no longer serve you. Breathing in peace of mind, letting go of clutter and confusion. Just be present. Anything that comes up for you in this meditation, anything you feel, any thoughts, any sensations, just allow them to come and go. You don't have to attach yourself to them. Just allow them to come and go and unfold moment by moment. Breath by breath. just coming back, bringing your awareness back to your body, just taking in some deeper breaths again, breathing in through the nose and releasing through the mouth. Bringing your awareness back to your body, back to your feet on the floor, back to your hands in your lap. Moving your body, your toes, your feet, your fingers, your hands, your shoulders, and just coming back to this moment now. And just be with that peace for a moment, and I'll continue to pick up some reading here. Okay. I'd like to read out a passage that a part of the Wayne Dyer translation of this Living by Being. And he states that the 21st century is often called the information age. We live in a time when there's more data available on tiny computer chips than ever before in human history. We can also easily see that our efforts do indeed bring us more facts and the like. In fact, you may be one of the computer wizards whose greater efforts have made all of this possible. What's at issue here is the relationship of information to knowledge and wisdom. And he goes on, let's take apart the very name of this era, information, they call it the information era, to explain what I mean. When you stay in form in your body and your material world, you're rewarded with information. But move beyond form, transform to spirit, and you'll receive inspiration. Thus, information is not always knowledge, and knowledge is not always wisdom. Wisdom connects to your heart and in your waking moments. It is the Tao at work. Lao Tzu is asking you to recognize the difference between striving for more facts and being in the world that is complete as it is. As you live from this perspective of wisdom or connection to the Tao, the world looks so very different. You are a single beat in the one heart that is humanity. You don't have to look outside your window or venture forth. All you have to do is just be in the same way that you allow your heart to be. This concept was difficult 2,500 years ago, and I realize that it may still be challenging to grasp, but you must. In a world mad for information without the grace of being the Tao, you are one of the heartbeats that keeps the Tao wisdom flowing freely, just by being. And we have to be careful here that they're not saying that we just sit there and be blobs and we don't do anything. We don't, we just meditate and we sit on a rock and we do it forever. They're not saying that, but what they are saying is that this process of being, especially when we practice meditation, this process of being and being more in the moment and in the flow begins to spill over and can spill over into all areas of our lives. And the more it does this, the more we are fulfilled, and the less we are grasping, and we can begin to unfurl our hands and recognize that the letting go, the process of letting go is, although it might be a little scary, is quite freeing. We can just, it's a beautiful freedom. I'd like to read one more part out, and I want to ask you, I'll come back to that, Carol. Just Carol says, besides your favorite books, what else inspires your meditations? Oh, well, I'll answer that now. Why not, Carol? It's not just my books. It's things that are happening. It's what's going on now, Carol. It's also you guys, you listeners and subscribers, and people often suggest things. It says, oh, have you done one on coping with change, or have you done one on this or that? And oh no, I've never thought of that. Wow, that's a great one. So yeah, it's a combination of all different things. And Carol, you know, the more go ahead, please keep reading. The more I can free myself too, the more I can live with what I'm teaching now, this living by being, the greater the process of these meditations, the greater the concepts and that will drop in. That I work with a writer and I share my concepts. She helps me structure the meditation. But if I don't have a clear mind, and if I get bogged down, it just won't work. So it's really important for me and for the work I do to be in the flow as much as possible. Thanks, Carol, for that. So I'm going to read you one more little part, and then I'm going to ask a question and give an example. So an internal knowing is there independent of your venturing forth. It's there even when your eyes are closed and you're sitting still. And he says, this doesn't necessarily mean you should become a couch potato. Rather, you must allow yourself to be guided by the same source that twirls the planets around the sun, and trust that it will direct you perfectly without you having to interfere. And oh boy, I'm going to throw it out there and ask you guys. Yes, I'll put the name of that book in the comments. I will do that right now, actually, so then we can move forward with that. Let me just do this. Won't be a moment, guys. So it's Dr. Wayne Dyer, Living the Wisdom Tao. Thank you, and it's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Yep. Oops. Next time I will put this in the description. I thought I did, but obviously I haven't. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so what I wanted to throw out to you guys, have you guys ever been in the flow, or there's been parts of your life where you've found it really easy and you've actually achieved so much in this, almost like this not doing process? It didn't feel like a chore to you. It's like you've just been in this zone and you've flowed. This is what it's all referring to. And sometimes we can achieve so much more being in those zones than we can this clambering and struggling and straining. And Erin says yes. I think she's referring to that, maybe something else. But anyway, I want to give you an example, my example. I remember doing Talent Quest many years ago, and I would often sing, and I would practice at home. And to me, practicing wasn't practice as such. It wasn't having to get down the garage and sing. It was the joy to run home from school and get down the garage and sing, because I loved singing so much. I would stand on the milk crate and I would visualize the audience. And in fact, the struggle was school with maths. I think I learnt more out of school with maths than I did in school, but that's another story. But I would get home and sing, and it was all so easy. I went to these talent quests. For about 8 years of my life, I was competing in these talent contests. A lot of it began to fall into all about competing and competition and striving, what we're just talking about, being the best, even comparing yourself to other people. I entered this one particular talent quest, and I was singing, and it was the grand final, and it was quite a prestigious talent quest in Petersham in Sydney, and it was one of the ones that many of the singers wanted to be in and wanted to get into. There was a waiting list even to get into it because they had the best band, the best sound, the best lighting, etc., the best compere. And I made it into that, and in short, I made it to the grand final. In the grand final of these contests, there's usually about 10 people. There was 17 people in this particular grand final. And we had to draw numbers, and I was the last one to come on. I stood there backstage the whole competition, like getting more and more nervous when I was comparing myself to other people out there. And I kept thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? You know, I'm not good enough. I'm like this, I'm that. What am I doing here? They're all too good. And the compere of the show, she said, she saw that I was nervous, and she come up and she put a hand on my shoulders. And she said, Jason, she said, what's going on here? And I just said, oh, I'm just nervous. You know, there's so many really good people. It's just, and I'm the last one on. And she just said, what do you sing for? What? And I sing, she said, do you enjoy it? And I said, yes, I do enjoy it. I love it. And she said, well, don't lose that. And she said, step out of the competition when you go out on stage. You don't need to be in this competition. Step out in your mind, she's referring to. Don't allow this competition to take away your joy of what you love to do. And I looked at her and I thought, it's just this simple reminder of what I was originally doing singing for. And I walked out, something just changed instantly. And I walked out on that stage with so much presence, more presence than I've ever had in my entire life. So much joy, so much energy, like the shackles had been taken off my legs and arms, and I was free. I was totally free. And of course, the audience pick up on that. They're not silly, right? They knew I was who I was. And that's just it. And I ended up winning that grand final out of brilliant artists. And I won that grand final. And I will never forget it. And it wasn't about necessarily being the best. Personally, I think it was about being the freest. And in me being free, it was a reflection on the audience to give them permission to be free in that moment. And they felt it. They felt my freedom. They connected with me. And I will never, ever forget that. And this is what I think it's about too. It's being in this moment and letting go of the striving. And I'll just put some of this up. It won't come out. Lisa says, I spent my whole childhood and early adult life doing music exams. The pressure was immense, but I also reflected on how much I loved music, regardless of the competition. Exactly, Jason. Yes. And that's not to say, that there's going to be moments where we have to use our brains. Of course we do. But I think it's more about the tapping into the deeper why and wherefore and the deeper wisdom rather than just simple knowledge all the time. And Nell says, I'm in the flow when I draw, my new hobby. Perfect. Yeah. Cynthia, I want to meet you one day, Jason, and take you for a meditation in the ocean in my catamaran. Whoa, that sounds beautiful, Cynthia. Sounds lovely. I'm sorry that you're having problems with the flow there, Carol, with it blocking. It's a bit of a bummer, right? Yeah, you want to hear, Pamela says it's a majority. We want to hear you sing sometime, please, Jason. I will do some singing. I will. I won't today because I've actually still got a bit of a scratchy voice, so there's no point in, I'm barely talking, never alone singing at the moment. Oh. Yes, Anita, I do some singing. And greetings to you there in the Netherlands too. And thank you, dear Leanne. It's lovely to see you here. Yes, it was beaming. It was really beaming. And Pamela sums it up, do what makes your heart sing as much as we can. As much as we can. And even when we're in the difficult moments, where there are times we have to do chores, right? We have to do things that we don't want to do. But I think it's in those moments, and that's the challenge. It's finding the parts of those moments, just little segments of capturing ourselves in those moments, just moments of bliss within those even difficult parts. And we can do that. We can do that. And Sharon says, struggled so much trying to be what everyone else thought I should be, that I'm now just in my 60th year discovering my flow. Beautiful, Sharon, I commend you. We're never too late whilst we're here. Never too late. Never go. And Edith says, I'm in the flow when I'm making floral arrangements for my friends. He's got a good voice, I've heard him. Thanks, Edith. And Nev says, I used to experience flow while mountain biking and playing the drums. Awesome. But no more because of health issues. Yeah. Yeah, music and sports, perfect examples of being in the flow, right? And the swimming and biking and running. I can't wait to get out and start to do some walking and running again. And of course, this time, little Dharma won't be here, so I can speed up my pace now. I can pick up the pace and start to get a few pounds off the old belly here. Wow, the comments, I'm way behind. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys. So I guess what I'd like to leave you with is with this, and Wayne Dyer does something similar too in his Do the Tao Now. What he says is that in the next day, in the next 24 hours, see if you can do something that you're in the flow with, that you're in the Tao with, finding the way in your life. And whether that be, you might want to draw, you might want to sing, you might want to paint, you might want to dance, you might want to do gardening, but just something that gets you in the flow. And just feel for a moment that freedom and see how that unleashes you. And also visualize yourself, as Wayne says, as just one gigantic heart that just pumps automatically, connected to all that is, all that ever will be. And you are there, and you don't need to try, because you are You are the world. You are the universe. We're like these little 3D holograms that you can cut up, and no matter how small you get these little pieces, these little holograms, you are still complete. You still have the universe contained within you. You are joy, you are health, you are abundance, you are love, you are everything. You are the way, you are the Tao. It's been a pleasure talking with you today, guys. And I just put up one more there. Erin says, I experience flow swimming during restorative yoga and when I'm in Italy at the ocean too. Good on you, Erin. Oh, my address to the new blog. I've written a personal blog, and it's called, I'll just type it here, daysofdharma.com. Hope that's it there. And that's my personal blog. I'm going to be doing all things, not just meditation. It's just here it is. It's my freedom. It's my flow. It's my whatever comes to my mind is coming to my mind. I'm going to put out there. So you can feel free to check that out. Carol says, scratchy voices, Dylan, Springsteen, John Fogerty. I'd say you're in good company. That's perfect. Oh, wow. Okay. I love you guys. Sending all you guys love, and have a beautiful evening for those of you that's nighttime or afternoon, and have a beautiful day to those of you in the Southern Hemisphere. I'll be back again on, what are we up to? What day is it now? Wednesday. I'll be back again on Friday, 2 days away, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And also, if you want to join my weekly emails, there it is there. If you haven't already joined my weekly emails, it's empoweredsleepformula.com. And also, when you sign up for that, you get a free sleep guided meditation download, MP3. So please feel free to do that too. It's been an absolute honor. Thanks very much. And we'll tune in again in 2 days' time. Same place, same time. And I send you all the love in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye.